Hi guys, this is Ivan G and today we are going to learn about CSS. Okay, we will use this index.html file that we created in previous episode. If you haven't watched episode about HTML, I suggest you watch it before this episode. Okay, what is CSS? In previous episode we created this using only HTML. In this episode we are going to style this HTML with CSS. How can we do that? Okay, first let's create new folder in this HTML projects folder. New folder, let's call it CSS. And in CSS folder, let's create a new file and save it as this folder HTML project here as style.css. Okay, we need some link between these two files, so in here let's link it. What is xref? Xref is a path to this style.css file. Style.css file is located in folder called CSS, so CSS slash name of the file is style.css, style.css. okay, now these two files, index.html and style.css, are connected. Okay, let's write our first CSS. Okay, h1, this is syntax for CSS, curly brackets, and let's type font size 12 pixel, color, let's say red. Okay, save it, go back, reload, and this is tag h1. Only tag h1 is affected by CSS. Why? Because we only write CSS for h1. This h1 is this h1. Okay, why is it h1 now smaller than h2? Because we gave him font size 12 pixels. Okay, let's write for h2 now. h2 color, let's say green. Okay, come back, reload, and here it is, h2. Let's write something else. How about background? Background, let's say orange, and border, let's say 2 pixel. Solid. Solid means that line between text is full, you'll see now, and let's say blue. Okay, save it, reload, and here it is, background orange and border is blue, 2 pixel, solid. Okay, let's write for h3. Let's say color orange, let's say font weight. Font weight is thickness of the font, let's say bold, and let's say border top 2 pixels solid red. Okay, let's reload. H3, here it is, only border top. We have orange color, and we can now give it padding. Let's say 10 pixels. What is padding? Padding is space you give this text. You see 20 pixels from left, 20 pixels from top, and 20 pixels from bottom. Also from right, but this goes to the full. Okay, let's do something else. Let's say, for example, H4 display none. Display means how this element will appear on the screen, because display none is going to hide this element. Now we don't have this element, display H4. Okay, let's do H5. Let's say border 1 pixel dotted, and color will be green. And let's say text transform uppercase, and text align center. Okay, let's reload, and here it is. Text transform uppercase means that every letter of the word or text will be uppercase, and with text align we center text inside of the box. Okay, now let's write for H6 something. For example, opacity 0.3. Here it is. You can notice that this text now look transparent. Opacity is a type of CSS that you can give transparency. It goes from 0 to 1. 0 mean opacity fullest, and 1 means that you don't have opacity on that element. Okay, let's write some CSS for this EMG. Let's say float right. Reload, and here it is. Float means that you can position element left or right on the screen. If I type left, element will be on the left side. Okay, but I don't want this. I just show you how can you can do this. Save it, reload, and here it is. Okay, now we will do some margin for div. Div is this element on the screen. This is div tag. Okay, and let's say margin. Let's say margin top 20 pixels, margin bottom 20 pixels, and let's say background blue, text align center, text transform capitalize. Reload. Okay, text is aligned centered. Then you have text transform, means that text transform capitalize means that every first letter of the word will be capitalized. And let's give it color white. Okay, and we have margin top 20 pixels from this element to this, and 20 pixel margin bottom means 20 pixels from this element to this element. Okay, now I will show you very important thing in CSS. It is called class and ID. First, in index.html, let's create 3 div elements with the same class. One div, two div, 3 div. Okay, they will have the same class. Class is written like this. Inside tag div, write class equals, and let's give it a name. Let's say, how about same class. Okay, these two divs will also have class name same class, and this one class same class. Okay, what does class means? That means that with one CSS we can affect multiple elements. Okay, let's write some CSS for this class. Because this is class, with CSS we write dot. Dot means class. And type name of the class. Name in here is same class, so we write same class. Okay, let's say color purple. Let's check it out. One div. Here it is. They have the same background color because they are also divs, and with this div we affected all divs. We can run by that with typing, let's say, background white. Okay, and let's say font size 30 pixels. Here it is. You can see that with one class, name same class or whatever you want to call your class, we can style multiply elements. Okay, how about if we want to style only this element? Well, for that we have IDs. Syntax is like this: ID equals, let's say, to ID. You can give it name whatever you want. save it, and in here classes in CSS are written with dot and ID is written with hash. Let's change language with this symbol. Okay, and give it name of your ID. Mine is toID. toID. Let's change. Copy bracket and let's say color. Let's say red. Okay, that's it. Remember, for classes, if you want to style multiply elements, you use class, and if you want to style only one element, you use ID. Okay, we can give this element width of 30% and float to the left. See what happens. Here it is. This element now have with 30%, this also, and this also. Because they don't stretch to the fullest, this element appears. Let's give this element some margin. Let's say margin left 5% and margin right 5%. Load. Okay, now they have 100 with these three elements. Div 1 has 30% width, div 3 have 30% width, and div 2 has also 30% width, but he also have margin left 5% and margin right 5%. Okay, remember, for multiply elements you use classes. You can give class whatever you want name, and if you want to style only one element, you give him ID. Okay, and that's it for this episode, guys and girls. I will see you next time. Cheers.